Hello, how are you? Happy Friday. This is Monica Shimonik. I'm just hanging out in my office and I'm doing another installment of the Parental Alienation series that I've been doing. And this one is it's about doing what you want your children to be doing. What does that mean? So listen, you know that if your child is alienated from you, you know that at some degree they are miserable. They're not happy. They're not living the teenage or the adolescent life that they want. They're not living the life that you envision them to be having at this age. And the other thing is, alienated children, happy children do not cut off one of their parents. That just doesn't happen. So a lot of you are just so desperate and you're so sad and you just have all these like dark days, and even like a night like tonight, you're not going to be, hi Steph, you're not going to be out like probably having fun. You might just be burying yourself in TV or ice cream or Facebook. You're just going to be doing activities that aren't really serving you. They're not serving your highest good. And your child is probably in that similar vibration that you're in, because your child doesn't have you in their life right now. So how do you get out of this funk, and how do you break this ridiculous cycle that has been induced by the court system and your ex? What you need to do is you need to do exactly what you want your child to be doing. You need to, whatever you want, however you want your child to be. So like take out a piece of paper and write down like 5 qualities that you want your child to have. It could be adventurous. Let's just say you have a daughter, say. I'm thinking about my own daughter here. Let's say you have a daughter who's really like outspoken and really likes to color and draw and dance, and she's very like creative and has millions of friends. So you would probably envision that daughter of yours to be very adventurous, social, and let's say she had a problem with lying when she was a little kid. Some kids have that phase. So you'd want her to be honest. Maybe she lied to the therapist. So you'd want her to be honest. You'd want her. Maybe she had a bit of maybe she had like a little bit of a sharp tongue, whatever they call that, like a little mouthy. So maybe like she had an issue with like disrespecting people. And you found that you were like always correcting that behavior when she was little. So write down like the things that you would want her to have. Maybe be like, courteous. Maybe continue that creativity that she had, those good qualities, and further develop them now that she's older. So write down the 5 kinds of qualities. Now, I always recommend doing these exercises for each kid. So if you have 3 alienated children, do this exercise 3 times. You don't want to lump everything into one pile, because you want to really be laser focused on this exercise, and you want to have like a lot of clarity when you do it. So it's always best to like do each exercise for each one of your children that are alienated. So whatever you want for your child, you need to embrace those qualities. So if you want your child to be adventurous, you be adventurous. If you want your child so this is a big thing. A lot of you are probably going to write down this word: empowered, confident to speak their voice, confident to tell the truth, confident to tell the adults in their life what they want. Because some of you have alienated children that didn't lie to anybody. They weren't brainwashed. They're just being kept out of your life just because. So there's that too. That's another form of it's like another category of alienation. So whatever you want in your children, you need to grab onto those qualities and embrace them. Now, if you're not like super adventurous, like you might not be like all about bungee jumping and stuff like that, but there's lots of ways to be adventurous. You could be adventurous by, reading a book that you normally wouldn't read. Like you read fantasy if you normally read nonfiction. I did that when my son was taken. I always read nonfiction. I was like reading like nutrition books, nutrition journals. It was just I'm Bert from Sesame Street when it comes to what I read. Seriously, like I have the most boring library ever. And I started reading the Harry Potter series. So like I just had to change shift gears a little bit with how my brain was working. So anyway, that's a way to be adventurous, a way to be creative. You don't have to buy $1,000 worth of paint supplies. Just think about, rearrange the furniture in your room. That's creative. So you don't have to go crazy. Just embrace the qualities you want your children to have. So now let's get back to this thing, standing in your power, being empowered, being, having that voice. Your children aren't speaking what they really want because they're being brainwashed and they're being pressured to lie. So like your children are blocked up right here. They're not getting their voice out. They're not getting their voice heard. So what does that mean for you? What can you be doing to help your children indirectly? Maybe you need to start making your voice heard. Maybe you need to start speaking out against the family court abuse and against the alienation stuff. Now, when I say speaking out, I don't mean venting on Facebook, even though there is some value to that. Look at my live stream yesterday. I know that, sometimes venting feels good. Sometimes talking on Facebook feels good. But when I say speaking out, I mean speaking to people who actually are able to change the system, like legislators, maybe writing an op-ed in your local newspaper, maybe creating a Facebook Live, like what I'm doing right now, and talking about how parental alienation is harmful to children and what we can do to change it. So like that's your way of speaking out. So like you're getting your truth out there because you want your children to get their truth out there. Maybe if you have gag orders right now that prohibit you from speaking about your case, which a lot of you have, go back to court and open that and say, open the orders and say, file like a motion to open and say, this is unconstitutional. You don't have the right to gag me. I want to change these orders. Now, if you want to get into like the legal aspect of things and like how to actually do this, go visit fixfamilycourts.com. There's probably a way you could reopen your case. I don't know if you have to show a change in circumstances, but you might have a clause where you could reopen unconstitutional orders at any time and challenge them. So that could be another way of using your voice. And so another thing about that you want your children to have is empowerment. That's probably something your children are lacking. So a way to have your children embrace that quality is for you to be empowered. So where's your empowerment? Are you standing in your power? Are you acting upon fear and not doing things because you're afraid of consequences? Are you not living in your truth because you're afraid that somebody else is going to punish you or sanction you, or your child's going to ignore you, or your ex is going to go crazy if you do this? Oh, I can't do that, my ex will flip, or, oh, I can't do that, it's too expensive, or I can't do that, my lawyer will get mad. I can't do that. I have a terrible judge right now. I have to wait a year for this judge to leave. Like you're going to come up with all these excuses of, it's very comfortable to not stand in your power. I get that. I mean, gosh, not standing in your power feels good sometimes because then you could just get to lay on the couch and do nothing. You don't have to do anything when you're not standing in your power. You could just be like, maybe somebody will change the law someday. Who cares? And then you just like watch your Netflix. I get not wanting to take action. Totally get that. There is comfort in being complacent and stagnant. There is comfort in that. But even if you're comfortable, you're still probably pretty miserable too. So those things can be tightly woven together. So make sure that you're not getting into that territory where you're getting too comfortable. So empowerment, think about like, why am I not taking action on this particular thing? Is it because I'm afraid of what somebody else might do? And especially parents are very afraid of what their kids are going to do. If you go to my earlier live streams on this topic, it gets into like the fear and how to process the fear and how to get through the fear. But we definitely get into the fear aspect in my workshop. I'm holding a workshop in 8 days. And so I encourage you to check it out. There's a link. The link will show you, direct you to the workshop and tell you about what to expect. But if you're alienated, you definitely want to do something about it. It's not enough to just sit around and wait. Okay. Cause that's disempowering. Sitting around and wait. It's tough. Like sometimes you have to be the one to take the first step and take the action, because then that will send out a ripple effect to make other, to wake up your child, and your child will be like, oh, crap, maybe I need to do something, because now you're modeling to your child what you want your child to be doing. So we definitely get into that in my workshop. I encourage you to take a look at the link and continue to be the lighthouse for your child. Okay. Lighthouses are a support structure for ships at sea, and that is your job, is to be the stable, consistent support structure for your child, and that's what I mean by being the lighthouse. So yeah, I hope you all have a good weekend, and I'll probably do another live tomorrow. Okay, remember, the workshop is in 8 days, so definitely take a look. Okay, all right, have a good weekend. Bye bye.